In this episode, I'm going to be talking about how to build a sustainable web design business. So if you're a website designer, you're a website developer, it doesn't matter whereabouts in your career that you are, this episode is here for you. Hello and welcome to Websites Made Simple, the podcast to support website designers and developers in having the very best web design business they can and earning a good amount of money while they do it as well. Because I don't know about you, but I know a huge amount of website designers and developers who come into my network, who come into my mentoring programs, who all start off undercharging because they think that they need to build up a portfolio before they can get going with their business. And they believe that the only way to build that portfolio is to do it on a mate's rate or a skill swap or any way that means that they're not actually being paid for the skills that they are bringing into the table here. And I have a very strong work ethic around we do not work for free. We do not work for too little money as well. And we build the business that works for us and for our clients. So if you're ready to spend a bit of time with me today to find out how to do that and how to apply it for your business, then let's get started. So the very first thing I want to suggest is that you collaborate with others in your web design business. And we know there is the stereotypical website designer that they're hunched over their keyboard, they're there in a hoodie and jeans, they might have their earbuds in, they might not, and ultimately they are working there in isolation. And if we want to stretch that stereotype a little bit further, they'll also be talking in tech jargon, and they generally will avoid any in-person meetings and most likely phone calls as well. That is so far removed from what website designers and developers are showing up as today. I mean, granted, there are still some people who would prefer their own company and who wear hoodies in the industry, and that is absolutely on them. But I can assure you, the more you collaborate, the more money you'll make, the less stressed you'll feel about projects, and the happier you will be in your business. And when I say about collaborating, it can be with other website designers, because that can always be really helpful when you have too much work and you might want to come bring someone in as a white labeler, or whether you've been asked to work on a project that's slightly outside of your skill set and you just want the reassurance of someone else who you work with as well. It could be copywriters, it could be SEO specialists. I can tell you, if you go on LinkedIn, connect with some SEO specialists, you are going to learn so much more about the industry. So it's absolutely worth doing. Could also be branding designers and copywriters as well. But these are the key people who are going to help you to build a really, really good business. Because we know that website projects don't begin and end with the website build. I mean, essentially, they begin with the copy and the brand. And we want to be able to support our clients in getting over the hurdle of booking the website and getting started with the website, because we only get paid when the work happens. But often people will really stall at the copywriting stage. They will think, I can write this myself. I know about my own industry. That's why I work in the industry. But writing about your industry in a way that pulls people in through the website and working in your industry are two different things. Now, as a web designer, a developer, and a copywriter, if you're listening, you're going to know that, but your client isn't. And so if they come to you as the website designer or developer as their first port of call, you really want to be able to say to them, let's talk about copywriting, because the copy is going to be what influences the user experience, what helps people with clicking on and buying products or services through the website. It's also going to influence the SEO as well. So having someone in your network or a few people in your network who you can recommend, who you know that you work well with, is always going to be a really good thing. And that goes for working with SEO specialists and branding designers as well. And I personally really grew my business when I started working with a branding designer We had gotten on very well and I had used her for my own branding. Then I started sending clients her way. And I just knew that my clients were always going to have a really good experience of working with her. And the same with the copywriters who I've recommended. I always know that my clients are safe with these people and that we're going to have good work and it's going to be delivered on time. And that really helped to cement my reputation, not only as a great website designer, but someone who was well connected and who could put all of the parts of the website together for my clients and essentially project manage it all as well. And it also meant, because I was recommending these people for my clients, it also meant that they were recommending me to their clients. So my business grew a lot once I started collaborating. And I have my Sparks group mentoring program, which is a weekly hot seat group mentoring session. And it's full of website designers and developers and SEO specialists and copywriters and SEO copywriters. And everybody works together. They collaborate, they recommend each other. We have a group chat where people say, oh, can someone write me some CSS for this? Or can someone do that? And it's a real joy to see. And I promise you, it is not a requirement of Sparks that everyone collaborates. It's just, that's the vibe in the group. I always say we're about collaboration, not competition. And if you view your web design business as that you are a collaborator, not a competitor, it's going to massively open up the market for who you work with. It's going to open up your mindset and it's going to do really good things for your business. So that is an absolute essential one out there, is collaborate with others. I completely recommend it. The next thing I'd like to say is work out what it is you're offering and review whether it's working for you. And do this regularly, because the more experienced you get, and with every new website build you do, every new client you bring on, you're getting a little bit more experience as well. And when we start out with websites, we tend to just build anything. We think, oh, thank God, someone's going to be paying our bills this month. Yes, I'll do it. But that's not always going to be right for you. And I would say, niche as much as you can into, maybe you want to do high volume amount of budget websites, or maybe you want to go into kind of more expensive bespoke sites. Maybe you want to just have your business as doing website maintenance and care plans and advisory. Or some people run their business doing just kind of power hours and fix-it hours, or there's website hosting and maintenance contracts that people sign up to that has a certain amount of kind of blog uploads and things like that in them. How you run your business will be unique to you, but what's really important is you make sure that it keeps working for you. Because if you become unhappy with a service that you're providing or a product you've got, that unhappiness is going to kind of leach out into the communication with your clients, and your clients will lose a little bit of trust in you as well. So it's important that you always feel really aligned with what you're working on, and that will change. The more experience you get, the more it will change, and that's okay. Just stick with what works for you. One of the things that I think is a little bit niche, but I have worked with website designers who are sole traders, who are limited companies, who are CICs. I've worked with people at all different stages. And the one thing that I have always found very helpful, and I practice it myself, and it is something we can cover sometimes as part of my mentoring program, is actually registering your business as a limited company. And one of the reasons that I recommend that you do this separately to being a sole trader is keeping the company finances separate from your own finances can be really, really useful. And there are also some different reasons that I would recommend that you speak to your accountant about, tax relief and stuff like that. But one of the reasons I say having your company money separately is because it doesn't matter how experienced you are, you will have feast and famine months within the industry. Everyone sat there in that January thinking, holy smokes, how am I going to keep going? Or I need to book some website builds right now. And other times we'll be there in like the September and thinking, oh my gosh, I've got too much going on. Everything needs to be done by Christmas. I need to get some white labelers involved as well. And having that in a separate bank account with separate cash flow managed by an accountant can be absolutely worth its weight in gold. Because, and I promise you this ties in, I did a podcast episode not too long ago about why it's really important to outsource in your web design business. And this came directly from one of my mentoring sessions in the Sparks group, where we realised that some of the people who were in the group were bottlenecking money. They were getting the money in for a website build, and they would see that money as salary, not as income for the business. So let's just take a figure of £3,000. I don't know how much the website build was, but let's say it was £3,000. It comes into the company and immediately they think, oh, thank goodness, that's 2 months' salary paid or 1 month's salary paid or whatever it is that they're earning. But that's not actually the case, because that money comes into the business and then we need to look at using a portion of it to pay the software that we're using to build the website with, and for paying the hosting, and then all the other bits and pieces that make up the company. And one of the things that website designers and developers can tend to do is they overwork on areas that they could outsource to someone like a VA. For example, if you have to make changes to a lot of images, and that could be that you've got to put coloured gradients on them, or you've got to put text over them, or they will need resizing, that is not worth your time as a website designer or a developer. Let's say you're doing your time at £75 an hour, when you could have a VA working on that at £38 an hour, and you could be using your time to finish off the website builds, to do some of your marketing, set up as a limited company, to run your accounts, whatever it is that you could be doing in that time. You don't want to be doing it faffing around with images or something that a VA could do. Or when I get busy, and I absolutely do practice what I preach, I'm just starting another 2 custom website builds side by side at the moment, and I have paid a white labeler to copy dump all of the website content in there so that I can just go in there. It's going to save me hours and hours of time because it's already in there as titles and text blocks, and I can just go in and start designing and building, and I don't have to read everything and put it all down there. I know where I'm at with this as well. And the next job for that freelancer is to do the images for the site as well. So trust me, outsourcing is a really big part of having a website design business, one that you're not going to burn out in because you're not doing all the things. You don't think, oh, I've spent the whole day designing. Oh gosh, I haven't done all the invoices for today. I haven't done my marketing. I haven't replied to anyone on LinkedIn. I haven't replied to the email of that person who was inquiring about working with me. This gives you the opportunity to do that. And it might be a case of you absolutely love doing your images, but you don't like replying to clients. Again, just mix it up. Get a really good VA who can manage your email address or whatever else. But one of the things is we think as website designers, and going back to that stereotype of, we all sit there working alone, that we've actually got to be alone in our businesses, and we absolutely don't. And collaboration is so important. Outsourcing helps us kind of contribute to within the economy and pay other people's salaries as well, without that fear of, oh my gosh, I'm paying their mortgage. So it's a really good thing as well to do. So do really consider, have a think and think, where could I outsource? And even if it doesn't feel like the money or the payback from it is coming to me immediately, when I've actually won more business through having time to do my marketing or whatever it is that works for you, you will realise that actually outsourcing is paying for itself. So it's really important. So another thing that I wanted to talk to you about is about spending time working on your business. If you're a website designer or developer who's looking to strengthen your community, get expert advice, and not have it take up all your time, I've got the solution for you. My Sparks program is a weekly group mentoring call for people working directly in the web design space, where you'll get advice, support, and collaborate with other designers. We meet each week for an hour, and you'll come away with reassurance, knowledge, and the next steps for your business. Check out the Sparks group mentoring at websitesmadesimple.co.uk. We can have this habit, especially as creatives. Like, I love the creative brain. I mean, I drive people around me crazy, but the creative brain just goes, oh, what's my next project? What's the next one and the next one and the next one? And that's great until you realize that you're coming to the end of a load of website builds. It might be when it's starting to go into a quiet time and you actually don't have a strategy. You don't know where you're going forward with it or what you should be doing. You've just been on that hamster wheel of getting work and doing the work. And as much as I have the creative brain, I'm also really good at strategy as well. And I pay to go on days where I'm guided through how to work on my business, how to plan for the next 90 days, how to plan for the next 6 months, how to plan for the next year, and how to have the overarching overview of everything. And okay, I did do one last year, which was brilliant, but it was projecting the next 5 years. And I thought, I just can't plan that far ahead. I don't know what tools I'm going to have. I don't know what's going to be available. So for me, kind of the next year or 2 years, having a detailed plan of the next year and an overarching plan of the next 2 to 3 years is what worked for me. But it's really important that you spend time looking at all the areas of your business as well and creating actionable goals around them. So for example, where I was saying about work out what it is you're offering and review whether it's really working for you, spending some time actually working on the business allows you to do this, because you might think, oh my goodness, I do not want to be doing this area of my work in 2 years' time. And it's just too stressful, or I don't like it. Or it could be that one time I was working on my business and I decided that I wanted to have enough hosting and maintenance monthly contracts come in that it would pay for my salary and the business expenses. And that would be like my bare minimum. That would just come from that one stream of income. And then anything else over that, goes into profit. It goes into more planning days so I can do better things with it. And I can set up more services and things like that. So having these times where you step away from your business so that you can work on your business is really, really important, because you're then going to set actionable goals. And hopefully you will also award yourself an accountability partner to make sure that you are achieving those as well. And that part of it is really important. And what I tend to do is I tend to use my long-suffering best friends as my accountability partners. They are both really professional people. And so if I say to them, can you check in with me about this on this date and time? Can you do this and that? Then they will do it. And I'll know that it's coming up because we've all got it in the calendar. What I try not to do as much is use my freelancer fellow creative friends to do this with as well, because they're off doing their own thing and they might think, oh, I don't really want to jog her, or they might forget or whatever else. So just sometimes stepping out of the bubble of the people who I'm working with on a daily basis can really help with that as well. And if you are interested in having planning day, spending some time working on your business, meeting some people who you can collaborate with as well, I am going to be running some planning days towards the autumn and winter of this year, so that we can get nice and set up so we can handle that pre-Christmas rush, and we can also spread things out ready for that quiet time in January and as things start to pick up again. So if that's something you would be interested in, email me at hello@websitesmadesimple.co.uk. I will reply to your email. Only I manage that email address, so you do get me. And I'll be able to give you more plans and information as and when it becomes available as well, which is code for once I've found the right venue for us all. But it's going to be good, and it's going to be very transformative for your career as well. So I've just got a couple more that I want to run through with you as well. And one is about the money gap in website design. So I've talked about setting up as a limited company so that you can really handle your finances separately to the rest of your money as well. I've talked about doing what really works for you and where you really feel lit up by your work as well. And I finally want to talk about money, around look at what you would like to earn, what you are charging for what you're currently offering, and whether you can get there doing that. Because a lot of time people think, oh, I would love to earn, let's just say, for example, 60,000 a year, but they're actually only charging £1,500 for a website. And then it's taken them a month to build that website. And they might have 2 websites on the go. And so they might even be getting £3,000 a month. But that isn't going to get them anywhere near. They're still £2,000 a month short of their 60,000 a year. And it's then looking at where are the money gaps and how do we fill those gaps. And I promise you, I will do another episode on how we earn money as website designers, because we tend not to do it all from one place. So, for example, I earn money through my website builds. I earn money through my website clinic, which are power hours where people can come and work through some problems with me in that time. I also run workshops and masterclasses. Those come in as kind of one-off payments. I have my mentoring programs, that gives monthly payments, and I have my website hosting and maintenance services as well. And then you put all of that in the pot, and it's what makes it work as well. But it's really important that you list out the different services that you offer, how much you're charging for them, and what you need to do to be able to, 1, reach the financial goal you have, but 2, to be able to reach that financial goal and include all the expenses you have along the way of things like hostings and theme licenses and plugins and all that sort of thing. And finally, I would recommend that you look at getting a mentor. Now, obviously, I do mentor website designers and developers, and I work with people at all levels, whether that's really newly setting up and in the first couple of years, or whether, like me, you've been in business for 10 plus years and you're looking to tighten things up, you want to get to the next level, you want to review your services, you can come and work with me on all of those levels. And you can go to the websitesmadesimple.co.uk and you can see the offerings that I have there. I also have one-to-one mentoring calls, just one-off sessions. And that could be that you've maybe given the final draft of a website to a client and they haven't looked and liked it, and we can talk through what you could do to improve that website or how to handle the client. I work on crisis calls with people when it's all looking like it's going to fall out of bed with a client. You want to make sure you get paid. You want to be able to handle the next steps. You can get in touch with me through those one-off sessions as well. But whether you choose to work with me or whether you choose to work with someone else, having a mentor is the single most thing that will increase your opportunities in your website design and development business as well. Learning from someone who has been there, who's seen the mistakes, who can help show you the opportunities that are available to you and just help you structure things, whether that's with the creative side of the business or whether that's looking at your processes behind the scenes. It is something that will absolutely pay for itself over and over again. You'll see with my mentoring programs, which are 6-month programs, that they are priced at the price point of a relatively lower price point custom build websites, because I know that if we work together one-to-one and in group settings over 6 months, you will secure a custom build website which will pay for that program. You will secure much more than that. But that's how I priced it for you as well. And again, I put my money where my mouth is. I often have coaching, mentoring. I've just come off the back of a planning day, which is a coaching day as well. And every time it's really influenced my business. And I want to help you to influence yours in all the most positive of ways. So that's us for this week. I hope it's given you a lot to think about. Do get in touch with me. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this episode. You can reach me at hello@websitesmadesimple.co.uk. You can also find me on LinkedIn as Holly C. Christie. Come and drop me a DM. I would love to hear from you. And I will see you again on the podcast soon.